Hey guys, it's Miss Smith. I'm going to be dividing decimals with you today. Okay, dividing decimals. Okay, first let's just do a plain division problem without any decimals so you can see how to do it with them. So another way to put a division problem, do you all remember? It starts with an F. Fractions, okay? So if I can write this as a fraction, so 45 divided by 5. This means the same thing. Okay, but now let's put it into a way to where we can actually divide it. Now I know you know this one by heart, but I'm gonna show you how to put it in the form that we're gonna be doing dividing decimals in. Okay, so we're gonna put it top dog in the house. So 45 goes in the house, and then 5 on the outside. Now, how many times does 5 go into 4? Okay, 0. How many times does 5 go into 45? 9 times, so you have to put it right above the 5, okay? Because you gotta make sure with division we always line it up. So 9 times 5 is 45, and 0 left over. So our answer is 9 for 45 divided by 5. Now clearly I knew you knew that, but let's look at the next one. We have a decimal now, okay? But we should know that the first number or the top number always goes inside the house. First number or top number always goes inside the house. Okay? So we put 4.5 or 4 5/10 divided by 5. Okay? Now, when you see a decimal inside the house, all you have to do is bring it up and forget about it. Okay? Let me show you how to do this. Okay? Now, here, you should have known how to do that. Now, how many times does 5 go into 4? 0 times. Okay, how many times does 5 go into 45? 9 times. Once we put that decimal up, did we ever look at it again? No. Okay, just forget about it once you bring it up. So now you have 9 times 5 is 45, 0 remainder. Okay, easy. Okay, now it gets a little bit tougher. We're going to go over some vocab really fast before we start the harder ones. Okay, now, the dividend is called the first number, or let me rewrite this as a fraction because we need to know how this looks as fraction form too because it means the same thing. Okay, so 0.3 or 0.3. Okay, so 1 2/10 or 1.2 divided by 0.3 or 3/10. Okay, this is the same thing. These two things are the same thing. Okay, this is called the dividend. Okay, the dividend is always the inside number. So when I talk about the inside number, I'm going to be talking about the dividend. And if you think about it, end and inside kind of goes together. Okay, now divisor, dividend goes on the inside. The divisor goes on the outside. So it's going to be your bottom number in fraction form or the second number. So now you have 0.3 on the outside, and this is called the divisor. Okay, and then of course your answer is going to be called the quotient. The quotient means the answer to a division problem. Okay, so this is what the vocab means, just so you know for future reference. Okay, so the first number, dividend, second number, divisor. Okay, now on the outside is the divisor and the inside is the dividend. Okay, moving on. Okay, if there is a decimal on the, what do you think the outside number is called? Very good, the divisor. Okay, the divisor. If there's a decimal on the divisor, like here, see there's a decimal on the divisor, okay? You need to make it a whole number. You need to make it a whole number in order, oh my goodness, sorry. You need to make it a whole number in order to divide. This means the decimal is at the end or at the back of the divisor before you can start dividing, okay? And we're going to do a couple of examples like this because the first example we did, everybody look back, the first example we did, there was on the divisor, there's no decimal. So now here, there's a decimal, so we gotta do one more thing before we can just move the decimal up and forget about it. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Okay, always rewrite your problem after moving the decimals, okay? And we're going to do all these steps down here, but I just want to write the blanks in first, okay? Always rewrite your problem after moving the decimals. Whatever you do to the outside number, what do we call the outside number? Very good, the divisor, okay? Whatever we do to the divisor or the outside number, you always have to do to the inside number. And what do we call the inside number? Okay, the dividend. All right? So whatever you do to the divisor, you always have to do to the inside number and bring up the decimal. Very good. Just like we did on the first problem. Okay. Then forget about the decimals and divide like normal. Okay. So let me show you an example of how we're going to do this. Now, in my other classes for the past few years I've been teaching, I always called, when it has a decimal on the outside, I always call this copycat. Do y'all know what a copycat is? It's like in junior high when your friend has the same shirt as you and you think she copied you, so you're like, she's a copycat. Or if you have a little brother or sister who does the same exact thing as you, okay, we call this copycats, right? Okay, so whatever you're going to do, I'm going to do, right? Kind of thing. Okay, so when we see these kinds of problems, dividing, okay, if you need to rewrite it over here, you can as a fraction to help you remember top dog in the house. Okay, first number or top number always goes inside first, okay? So we're going to put 0.45 inside and 0.5 on the outside. Now, here's our problem. You cannot divide until you make this number, the divisor, a whole number. Okay, so how many places are we going to have to move the decimal to make it a whole number? Very good, one time, okay? So one time over, so this becomes 5, and then whatever you're going to do, I'm going to do. So 0.45 has to copy. It's going to copycat, okay? So you're going to move it, you're going to move it one time this way, okay? So we're both moving it the same way and exactly the same thing, okay? Now we have new numbers. Now we have new numbers. So this is where you're always going to rewrite your problem. So we're going to rewrite this 5. This is going to go away. We're going to rewrite it. So we're going to we turn this to 5 and we turn this to 4 5/10. Okay? Now, this looks like exactly like the first problem we did. Move the decimal up and forget about it. Okay? Move the decimal up. Once you've done that, forget about it. Now you're just going to do 45 divided by 5, which we've already done this problem, so we're going to get 9. So your answer is 0.9. Okay? Very good. Okay? Now the next one. Let me draw a line so we don't get confused. Okay, here we go. So if you, like I said, if you need to rewrite this as a fraction to help you remember top dog in the house, you're more than welcome. Okay, so you have 4.5 divided by 5/100ths. Okay, so now top dog in the house. So we have 4.5 and then oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. 0.05 on the outside. Okie dokie. Now, this number has to be a whole number like we talked about, okay? So I can't divide until I make this a whole number. So how many times am I going to have to move it to make it a whole number? Very good. You're going to have to move it twice. 1, 2, this way. So now this number becomes 5, just like this one, okay? Now if I move it 2 times over here, whatever you're going to do, I'm going to do, okay? He's a copycat, so he's got to do exactly what the outside number. So how many times do we have to move it if we move twice on the outside? Very good, twice. Okay, so 1, 2, I don't see a number here. Okay, it's invisible, but whenever you have to go over, you always make your invisible number 0. Okay, so if you ever have a place, you got to put a 0 there. Okay, and like I said, move the decimal up. Now you can forget about it forever. Okay, now we're going to rewrite it though. I've totally forgot this step. You're going to have to rewrite it. So 5 on the outside, because that's what we made this into a whole number. This number becomes 450. Okay, and of course we moved our decimal up there. Okay, so how many times is 5 going to 45? Okay, or how many times is 5 going to 4? 0. How many times is 5 going to 45 now? Got to put it right above the 5. Okay, so 5 times 9 is 45. Okay, 0. Bring down your 0. Okay, now I have to put the number on top of this 0 since I brought that down. Okay, so how many times is 5 going to 0? 0. So my answer is 90. Okay, very good. Okay, we only have a couple more examples. Here we go. Okay, we're almost done. These are the last 2. Okay, here we go. Now, remember you can do a fraction, so let's do 42 over 1.4. I promise if you rewrite it like this, it's going to help you because you know top dog goes in the house. Okay, so now we know our answer isn't going to have a 9 in it because we've been doing some type of 45 divided by 5. Now this is totally a little bit different. Okay, so now who goes in the inside? Top dog in the house, our first number. We're going to put our dividend first. Okay, so our dividend goes inside. And then we divide. Oops, supposed to be a 42. So sorry. 42. Okay, so 42 divide. Oh my goodness, look at me. Sorry, guys. Totally messing up all the time. Here we go. Okay, 42 divided by 1.4. Okay, or 1 4/10. All right, here we go. Now, where is this decimal here? I don't see a decimal on 42. Where is the decimal always going to be at if you don't see it on a number? Very good. It's always at the back of a number. Every number has a decimal. You just might not see it. So if it doesn't have it there, you know it's at the back. Okay? So now, problem. I have a decimal on my divisor. Okay, so what am I going to have to do, or my outside number? Okay, you're going to have to make it a whole number. So we're going to move it over once. Okay, whatever you're going to do, I'm going to do. You have to do the exact same thing. Don't have my number here, it's invisible, so I put a 0 and move my decimal. And then, of course, move your decimal up. Okay, now, like I said, mine looks so messy, I'm going to rewrite it anyway, but you have to rewrite it because we need to, it looks really messy if we keep it like that. So now we have 420, okay, 420 divided by 14, because we made 14 a whole number, right? Because we moved it once. So then I move my decimal up and forget about it. Okay, this one's done because we rewrote it. All right, how many times does 14 go into 42? Okay, we hate these big numbers. I mean, I do too, but sometimes you're just going to have to do trial and error. So I guess you're watching this on Monday night, so no, Tuesday, whatever day you're watching this, okay, the next day that you come to class, you might have to do some trial and error. So I'm going to try 14 times 3, and of course I do get 42. So I know that 14 goes into 42 3 times. Now guys, you have to put your answer on top of your number. Like, you cannot put it on top of the 4 because 14 doesn't go into 4 3 times, it goes into 42 3 times. Okay? So 14 times 3 is 42. So here we go, 42, bring it down, 0. Now bring down your 0. How many times does 14 go into 0? 0 times. So my answer is 30. Okay? Very good. Okay, here we go. Next one. Last one, bear with me. Okay, here we go. I'm going to rewrite this as a fraction. So my first number always goes on top, divided by 2 hundredths. Okay, so 24 hundredths divided by 2 hundredths. Okay, here we go. Okay, so top dog in the house, that means point. Let me make a line here so we don't get mixed up. Okay, so this means 0.24 divided by 0.2. Okay, here we go. Okay, now, I have a problem though. I have to move my decimal because my divisor has a decimal place in there. So how many times am I going to move it to make 2 a whole number? Very good. This time it's going to be twice. Okay. Now, if I do it over here, copycat, whatever you're going to do, I'm going to do. So how many times do I move this decimal? Very good. You move it twice. Okay. And then put your decimal there. Now, too messy. Let's rewrite it. So now we have 2 on the outside because that's the whole point. You always have to have this number be a whole number. Okay. And then we moved that to be 24. Okay. So now how many times does 2 go into 2? 1 time. Okay. Now bring down the 4. How many times does 2 go into 4? 2 times. And of course you just know 2 times 12 is 24. So my answer is 24. And of course I have my decimal here and I needed to move it up. There we go. Okay. Y'all are great. I will see you tomorrow.